Hiya lovelies, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Linz. So we are doing today what I'm calling 50-50 bread in the air fryer. Now it's another one of my really simple, no faff, no fuss, no kneading, not really any brain power needed for this one either. So I know that if you're one of my regular subscribers, this year so far with me trying to get videos out has been it's just been near non-existent. I do have, for any of you that are interested, obviously one of my catch up and copper videos that I'm going to do just to explain a little bit more about what's been going on and stuff. But anyhow, a lot of you that have clicked on this video aren't going to be here to, know my life story or care what's going on in my life even. So, it's not for everybody. But if you do like this type of content and things like that, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to. It's completely free. We're not just doing air fryer and instant pot cooking. We're going to be doing a little bit more of life stuff as well going forward. Just getting that in there in case you don't want to watch the copper and catch up and copper. So as I said, I'm using whole wheat flour and just normal plain flour for this recipe. And I've made this quite a lot now, and I'll hope that you'll enjoy it too. So we're going to get into it. Now, don't worry about writing anything down. I will put the ingredients in a pinned comment below the video and also in the description. So in this bowl here, I have 125 grams of coarse whole wheat flour and 125 grams of just plain, simple, bog standard, plain flour. You can use bread flour. Now, the difference with your strong bread flour is there's more gluten content in it. Personally, I have made it with and I've made it without, and I don't find too much of a difference. That's just being me or being honest. So in with the bowl here of your flour, I am just taking your normal table salt. To get a new one of these. And I want one teaspoon of table salt. Now, I don't particularly want my salt kind of mixing too much, or sitting on top, should I say, or the yeast sitting on top. We're just going to mix them through and mix the flours through nice and well. Nothing fancy, anybody can make this recipe. Now in this jar here, and I keep this in the fridge, this is just your normal active dry yeast packets you get from Aldi or Lidl or anywhere like that. They come in little packs. I think they're normally 7 grams or something like that. I empty them all out. I put them into an airtight jar and I keep them in the fridge. Now, for me, I know that this yeast is fresh, but if you've had your yeast sitting around for a while, it's maybe been in the cupboard rather than stored in a fridge, you can do what is classed as blooming. Now, you would put it into your hot water, but not too hot. You don't want your water over really 38 degrees, but I'll explain that in a minute. Because this has been in the fridge, I am literally just going to pop 1 teaspoon of this. So we're not using a full packet, and that is why I like keeping my yeast in these containers in the fridge as well, because most of my recipes don't call for a full pack. So at the moment, I don't know how well you can see this, I have 250 mils. Now this was water from the kettle. There's 1 teaspoon of sugar dissolved in this water. Now I just want this to come down. It's kind of okay at the moment, but I just want this to come down another few. We're not going to be able to see that. It's saying 47 Celsius at the moment. I want that just to come down just another couple of Celsius because I don't want to kill my yeast. So I want it to come down to about 38 or below. You don't want it too cold, you don't want it too hot. So I'm going to come back. It's also giving my yeast time to come up to a little bit more of room temperature. The reason I use water from the kettle, people have put it in my other bread videos about, just use it out of the tap. If you've got one of them fancy taps with the filters on it that boils your water, go ahead. If you have ever seen where your hot water is heated up and where it comes from, I have, unfortunately, because one of our tanks broke a couple of years back. I am not going to use hot water out of my tap for pure drinking or, cooking methods. It's just not happening. But you do you. It's your kitchen, it's your rules. So I'll be back in a few seconds or a few minutes when this has just cooled down a little bit more, and I will go through the rest of the steps. Okay, so my water is down to just around 38 Celsius now. So you're kind of looking, I don't know, I think it can go up to about 43-ish. I'm not sure what any of that is in Fahrenheit. I'll have to see if I remember. I will try and put it on the screen. So basically all I'm doing with this now is throwing it in and mixing it together. There is no kneading, no faffing around. Really good recipe. And if you've got some stuff that you need to be getting on with, this is one of them things where I will just leave it to do its thing. The only thing you want to make sure you do is make sure you don't have any dry pockets in it. So just kind of mix it fairly well. As I said, there's no thinking involved in these recipes, and I think that is what I like about them. And then that I can cook them in the air fryer as well, because I used to like making bread in the oven, and it's just gone. I just don't have the time or anything like that to do it anymore. So I am just basically, this is a clean, just in case, I think I got a comment on one of my bread videos. Clean, cheap shower cap. Use some cling film or cling wrap or something. You just want to make sure, that is kind of not so much airtight, but not letting any air in or out, because basically it will dry out the top of your dough. Then I just put a tea towel over the top. Now you want this to sit. This is just out on my counter, and I'll hold on now 1 second. My kitchen is 17 degrees now. Can you imagine that in May? That's ridiculous. But we'll moan about the weather in another video. This is going to sit on my counter now. Right, the minimum you want to leave this is 2 hours. You're basically looking for double in your bowl when you lift the lid back off. So you want it to rise to about double of what's in there at the moment. So 2 hours. I've got a few things I need to be getting on with today, so it could be 3, it could be 4, who knows. I'll let you know when I come back. It's important you follow all these steps, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, lovely, so we'll be back. Well, it's going to be a split second for you, but it's going to be maybe a few hours for me. Okay, so this now has had, let me see, about 2.5 hours, because I wasn't away as long as I thought I'd be. And as we can see, that has definitely doubled in size. Excuse me. So I am going to be doing mine in this tin here today. So dimensions for this one, it's 6 centimeters deep, 18 wide and 13 across. Is that? Yeah, that's it. I will link these down in the description. They're not very expensive. They come with a lid that you can use for so many other things. But if you've made my bread before, you might already have my 6-inch cake tins. This recipe also works in this, but I just wanted some more, kind of sliceable parts, I suppose, for making little sandwiches. So we are going to, first of all, hopefully I'm in frame. Let's come up a bit. There we go. I am just going to bring all that. Don't overwork this, but enough that the bit on the top that might have got a little bit dry, even though it was covered, will kind of cover. Oh my days, put your teeth back in, woman. But yeah, if you've been here before, you'll understand. If you're new, you're probably going, oh days, what am I watching? Anyway, that shall do. Now, I've buttered this today. Now, if you have been here before for many of my other bread videos, make sure to go and watch them if you haven't already. I normally use baking paper And I have been trying with just normal butter for the last couple of times I have been doing bread. And as long as you heavily butter the sides, then this seems to work. And the last one I've done, actually I have, no I don't, I bet it. I was going to show you one that I'd done a couple of days ago, but no, there's none of it left. So just kind of leveling that out as much. It doesn't need to be absolutely fantastic because it's going to level itself. Now my air fryer has not been used, it is completely cold, but I just find rather than having to keep this out of on the counter, find something to cover it with, you know, all that kind of thing. It's a lot easier because I know I'm not going to be using my air fryer until this evening. I just find it a lot easier to pop it in there. Now, what we're looking for on this, an hour. You don't want to leave it any more than that. If you have any residual heat in your air fryer, keep an extra eye on it because it will make it rise more. I just share one with you. A couple of weeks back now, I was making one and I forgot it was in there. Okay. And it was a few hours later and I opened it and it was everywhere. So needless to say, that was a fail. It's an awful pity I'm not filming when these things happen because I do like to show you the mistakes as well. Anyway, getting back to it, I'm going to put this back into the drawer, as I said, completely cold. If not, just cover it with something on your counter. This is going to sit now for about an hour, no more. I'm going to check on it. And you want it so it's about maybe 10 mil, a centimetre, sort of above the top of the rim. Okay, the crisper tray's in there as well, just in case anybody's wondering. So I will be back in about an hour and we'll continue on with the cooking. Okay, so I'm just going to give you, I've had a quick peek, but I'm just going to show you this here now at the moment. So it's really important not only to follow this step, but to follow the after step after it's baked. So if we can see, we're roughly around 10 mil or so, and it's leveled out nicely compared to, you know, how it went in. If you don't have a bake setting on your air fryer, basically this recipe, it will still work, but it's going to be a little bit darker on the top is what I found when I've done it in my other couple of air fryers, because you know I have a few here. So we're going to start. I have it on drawer 2. I'm going to use the bake setting. I'm going to bring that up to 170 Celsius. I will put Fahrenheit up there because once again I haven't filmed for a while and my brain has lost what Fahrenheit is. So on this now we are going up to 35 minutes. And we'll start. Okay. So as I said, if you don't have that air fryer setting or the bake setting on your air fryer, you can do it on the air fryer setting itself. I have tried with another one to play around with the times and temperatures and stuff like that, but I've never seemed to manage to get it right. And I have had a few, not fails because I was able to kind of fix them a wee bit, but apart from one that I kind of cremated, but that's a story for one of my catch up and cuppa videos, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to come back to you when this has finished. Please, you have to do the next step or you're just going to end up with a disaster after this is finished cooking, okay? So I will be back then. Okay, so this has just finished and it's done its cool down thing. I'll give you a look. There we go. So we're going to take it out. I will link these also in with the ingredients and things like that, because believe it or not, the biggest question on my channel is what is this and where does it come from? It's called a stainless steel dish lifter. I found the cheapest one I can down below. So anyway, this here now at the minute, rock solid. Do not panic. We're going to it has to be a clean tea towel, and we're going to put that over the top. And basically what this does here, is any sort of moisture that's still in that bread. Keep it in there, it will soften that up. Leave this on for half an hour to around 40 minutes and then take it out of the tin to stop it sweating. So I'll come back when I'm taking it out of the tin and you'll have a look then. Okay, let's take it out of the tin and leave it to cool a little bit more. Yes, butter works really well. Not going to be able to hear a knock yet because it is still piping hot. So I'm just going to pop the tea towel back over that. I'm going to leave it to cool down again now for maybe another half an hour or so. Then I'm going to cut into it and you can see that it's cooked and stuff the whole way through the middle. Okay, so this isn't completely cool, but it's cool enough just for me to cut into the middle of it, just so you can see that it's cooked the whole way through. So might go crummy because it's still a bit warm. No, it's fine. There we go. And there we have lovely soft half and half bread. I don't know, is that what you call it? Half and half, 50-50. Sorry, I forgot to show you the other side. As you can still see, that's showing there's still steam coming off that. If you left that another 5 or 10 minutes or so until it had completely cooled, then, you know, well, still. Now, the way I store this, I'm not going to do a taste test today because to get into some medical stuff, I have a mouthful of ulcers at the minute due to some new meds and stuff that I'm on. So, yeah, I'm on very plain, bland food at the moment. But what I'm doing with this is I will cut this now into slices. So, hold on, I'll just do that and I'll give you a look. Normally leave it until it's cooled down a bit more, but now there we go. I cut that into slices like that, so about, I don't know, maybe 2 centimeters thick, and I will put that into like a Ziploc bag or something and pop it into the freezer, and then I can either pull it straight out while it's frozen and pop it into the toaster, or if you prefer to use your air fryer to toast your bread, or I can take it out and defrost it. What I normally do to defrost it is I will just take a couple of slices out. I will put it in between 2 bits of like kitchen paper or something like that with a cover over it and leave it until it's defrosted, and I find that's fine. I do prefer any type of bread done with wholemeal flour more as a toast. Tell you what's really delicious with this is if you put a tiny little bit of butter on, some grated cheese, if you like your Worcestershire sauce, a few drops of that into the air fryer. Oh my days, to go with something like a tomato soup. And why are you talking about soup, Lindsay? It's summer. Definitely isn't summer here. Anyway, lovelies, this has been a bit of a longer one. I thought I'd try and make up to you for not being around again for another few weeks. I can't promise you at the moment weekly videos, but I'm going to do my best. So wherever you are, thank you so much for spending time with me in the kitchen. It really does mean the world. And yeah, just take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you all down in the comments or over in another video. Bye for now.